men and women who served in this country during a time of conflict. We feel fitting to do this, recognize all in our museum. Would you like to make a speech, Kevin?
I'd just like to welcome the Gilbert family here, and this is such a nice honor for Kevin's brother, and Kevin works so hard in support of our veterans and everything he does for our Memorial Day Parade Committee. So I'm very honored to be here and be a part of this, Kevin, and very deserving honor here. And I just want to thank the Veterans Museum here for everything that you do. This facility is outstanding, and all of the history here. You could spend hours and hours here and learning about what our veterans have done and the important role that they've had in our country from the very beginning. And this is just a great place to be, and this is a great honor to be a part of. Thanks, Kevin.
Congressman, would you like to the floor?
Thank you so much. I am really honored and excited to be here for this very, very important occasion. First, let me just answer the question that some of you may want to ask. I had rotator cuff surgery on my shoulder about 2 weeks ago. That's why my arm is in a sling. It's minor surgery. You know the definition of minor surgery? Surgery done on somebody else. So thanks for asking, and I would not have missed this occasion because it is so significant. I want to thank the Chief for being here. Thank you, Chief. But most important, the museum, which is a treasure. This museum is really unique in many ways because it is a story about service. It's a story about military service. It's a story about community and about family, because so many of the stories here are about families from West Haven, from the New Haven community, and Connecticut, who have given to this country. And so it celebrates service of many different eras, many families and communities that bring us together. And the story that we celebrate today, in fact, is about service and family and community. The Gilbert family goes way back in West Haven. I was looking at some of the photos that are in front here about the service of family members in positions of public responsibility to the West Haven community, and about military service. Military service runs in families. It's really that simple. It is a family trait. In our present era, less than 1% of all of our population, let me repeat, less than 1% is involved in military service. Even over the longest war in our history, never have so many years of war been fought by so small a part of our population. So this tradition of military service, which is absolutely essential to our democracy and our national defense, is very much the work and the dedication of families who instill the values that lead their children to serve. And that's the story here too. James Gilbert, John Gilbert, Kevin Gilbert, these names are ingrained in this place. And the medals that we are presenting today will be kept in this place, just as James Gilbert's medals are here from World War II. The span of that service includes all those wars: World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam, one after another. And so the medals are about more than just what John Gilbert did. It's about what the Gilbert family has done for America. And I want to thank the family for your example of service, your model of dedication and distinction. John Gilbert served quietly, unassumingly. He didn't do it for the medals. He did it because he loved his country, and I hope that his love for his country will be returned by the people who visit this museum and see these medals and know what family service is about. So I'd like to ask Kevin to please come forward. I'm going to do my best to present these medals with one hand. Maybe you can help me.
Yep.
Why don't you come over here, Kevin? These medals are, thank you. These medals are the Army Meritorious Unit Commendation, Ribbon and Oak Leaf Cluster, the Army of Occupation Germany Medal, the National Defense Service Medal and Bronze Star, the Korean Service Medal, the Army Good Conduct and Class Bronze 5 Loops Medal, Korean Defense Service Medal, Vietnam Service Medal and Bronze Star, United Nations Korea Medal, and the Republic of Vietnam Campaign Medal. And I have also letters to go with a letter and certificate of appreciation to go with the medals. But please know, on behalf of the Senate of the United States and the people of America, that these medals symbolize and say that we appreciate the service that John Gilbert and James Gilbert and all of the Gilbert family have provided so unstintingly and patriotically to our great nation. Thank you.
By the way, I'm not sure that good conduct level.
Well, I'm not going to comment. You know, only a brother can say that, right?
By the way, you missed it, brother, because I got two of his daughters here. That's my brother Terry, who was also a
I know your brother Terry.
warlord.
Yes.
No, you know my son.
I know Terry Gilbert. I never knew. I've been getting some of the family history,
Right.
and we had a mistake. I've committed this mistake now twice this morning.
Wow. It's tough to talk about. But I think the most important thing I can say is that I'm terribly proud of my father, my mother, my brothers. By the way, there's another guy that isn't mentioned here who lived with us, who I consider a brother. He's a World War II veteran. He wasn't here. I kind of grew up as an only child. I had three brothers. Times were different before the war. All my brothers were much older than me. But my brother Jack was 6 years older than me. My brother Terry was 8 years older. My brother Jimmy was 12 years older than me. And if you can imagine growing up in the 30s, my brother was 6 years old and he didn't want to play with me or whatever. He was was more interested in other things. And my brother Terry and Jimmy, of course, they were old enough when the war started to join the service. And that other fellow that I mentioned who lived with us, he also joined the service. So, and by the way, during the Second World War, my father was sent to Washington. Worked in Washington on he was an expert in the rubber industry. And he worked for the government during the Second World War. By the way, he got paid $1 a year. If you ever hear about $1 a year man, that was my father. My father would leave on a Sunday night by train, come home Friday night. And by the way, my father on Friday night never come home directly. He went to the town hall. At that time it was a town. But he went to the town hall because he was second selectman. He was second selectman for 28 years. And he went to that meeting. That was always on a Friday night. After that, or on Saturday during the war, my father was head of civilian defense in those days. So we attended meetings over the weekend. Sunday night, he left and he was going to Washington. Meanwhile, my brother Terry, my brother Jimmy, and my father's brothers, every one of them were in the service. They went into the war. My brother Jack, who we're supposed to be talking about today, being a little bit younger, wanted to join the service, but was just too young. Let me tell you a little story about when we were little kids. My mother and father came from Holyoke, Massachusetts. And in those days, we didn't have highways like we have today. But in those days, the old soldiers' home was sitting up on the hillside. It's still there. You come down 91 on the right-hand side, you still see it. I remember sitting in the back seat of my father's car. And my brother would say, that's where I want to be. That's where I want to go when I die or whatever, where I want to live. So as a little kid, he had ideas about being in the service, I guess. My brother Jimmy, who, that's a replica of his uniform over there. When my brother Jimmy went over to Germany, he wasn't there very long, maybe a month, I don't know. But it wasn't long before he was shot, missing in action, and then presumed dead. And at that time, my brother Jack, because my brother Jimmy was presumed dead, didn't find his body today, to this day. I have no idea where it is. My brother Jack always wanted to find my brother. He figured he could go over to Europe, Germany, France, wherever it was, walk down the street and meet my brother. So he joined the Army the first chance he had. He spent, I thought, 28 years. I read some papers, it was only 20 years. But anyway, he spent all of his adult life in the service. In the Korean War, he was in the Vietnam War. He was in Europe, he was in Asia. When he got out of the service, he literally spent the rest of his life on military bases, living, working, sleeping on military bases. He died at Fort Walton Beach, Florida, on a military base. And he always wanted to be buried in Arlington National Cemetery, which seemed to me to be not only impossible, but improbable, and so forth. But, excuse me. But he dies. My brother, Terry, he's girl's father. And where's Terry? He's a grandson. My brother Terry took it upon himself to make a couple of phone calls. And believe it or not, in nothing flat, we get the okay to bury my brother in Arlington National Cemetery. That's where he is today. And that's the guy we're honoring today. And when you see the medals, I'm not surprised, except for the good conduct medal. I remember when he came home, after he retired, I happened to look at a couple of the uniforms. By the way, he retired as a sergeant in '86. But he had different shirts with different stripes. Private to corporal. So I asked him, he says, you never know when you're going to need it. I got an idea, knowing my brother Jack. He probably wasn't a sergeant for a hell of a long time, but he was also an Army guy, without question, a service guy, without question. And I brought a couple of pictures that I had at home of my brother Terry, my brother Jimmy, my brother Jack. But there's also some pictures here. By the way, you know that I'm involved with the Memorial Day Parade. And there's a couple of guys here. And one of the old honorees, what are you, 97, 98 years old, right?
97.
Is here to be with us. There's two pictures of my brother Jack and my father walking through the Memorial Day Parade in the town of West Haven. It had to be in the 30s, and those two pictures in there. So, I thank everybody. I'm sorry I went on and on. But you know what else? These kids have a great opportunity to be here to see this museum and to understand what's happened in the past and what they'll look forward in the future. And another thing, guys and girls, this is a United States Senator. This is quite a man.
Well, I don't know, we can go that far.
Well, you're like the good conduct medal with my brother. But I think you have to understand the importance of this man who's given us these medals. And I'm quite happy and proud. Thank you.
Let me just say, because Kevin mentioned it, I'm so delighted that, I don't want to embarrass anyone here, but I'm so delighted that we have young people here who are going to remember, even more important than the photographic record that we're making, is going to be your memories. I hope that you will tell others about today, about being here, because you have a lot to be proud of in your family. I know some stranger telling you that may not mean much to you right now, but one of these days I think you'll understand how proud you can be of your family, of Kevin, of the folks whose photographs are right here before you. So thanks everyone, and I'll turn it back to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Congressman. I apologize for my errors, any errors I made. I'm usually not making speeches here. You're welcome to go around, take a look around. We'll show you around the place. It's only dedicated to all our veterans here. And everybody around here, we have some water and some Coca-Cola soda there back there if anybody wants to drink. And thank you so much for attending. And thank you all for giving. We appreciate it.